Somewhere in the United States, there is a river that simply disappears. One moment, water flows freely across the land, quiet, steady, completely normal, and then, without warning, it's gone. No waterfall, no ocean, no visible end. The river doesn't dry up. It doesn't split. It doesn't slow down. It just vanishes. It just vanishes. It just vanishes. For centuries, this strange behavior confused explorers, scientists, and the people who lived nearby. And even today, most Americans have no idea this river exists, or where its water actually goes. At first glance, there's nothing unusual about it. Cold, clear water moves through a rugged landscape shaped by time and erosion, pine forests, volcanic rock, wide open land. It looks like any ordinary mountain river in the American West. But what makes this river extraordinary is not how it begins, it's how it ends. The river is known as the Big Lost River. Located in eastern Idaho, near the edge of the Snake River Plain, and unlike most rivers in the United States, it does not flow into a lake, a reservoir, or the ocean. Instead, it disappears underground, completely. Early settlers didn't know what to make of it. In the early 1800s, fur trappers following the river's path were left stranded when the water simply stopped. They felt cheated by the landscape. Some believed the river was cursed. Others thought the land was swallowing it whole. A few even imagined hidden tunnels carved deep beneath the earth. For years, no one could explain where the water went, or if it ever returned at all. There was no dramatic collapse, no giant hole, no visible cave entrance. The river simply reached a point where it stopped being a river. At a specific location known as the Sinks, the water flows into a vast field of broken volcanic rock, dark basalt formed by ancient lava flows thousands of years ago. Here, the ground isn't solid, it's fractured, porous, filled with cracks too small to notice at first. And as the river reaches this field, something strange begins to happen. The water doesn't stop. It sinks, slowly, silently, through thousands of tiny openings in the rock. Minute by minute, the river thins. The surface flow weakens. And then, within a surprisingly short time, the riverbed is dry. What was once moving water becomes bare stone. To the eye, the river has ended. But in reality, its journey has only changed direction. Beneath the surface of eastern Idaho lies an enormous underground network created by volcanic activity long before humans ever arrived. When lava once flowed across this region, it hardened on the outside while remaining molten inside. When that molten lava drained away, it left behind hollow channels, lava tubes stretching for miles. Over time, those tubes fractured, collapsed, and connected, forming a massive underground system capable of carrying more water than some of the largest lakes on the surface. The Big Lost River enters this hidden world, and once underground, it continues flowing, completely unseen. But this is where the story takes a turn from nature to national security. As the river travels through the dark, it passes directly beneath one of the most secretive locations in the United States, the Idaho National Laboratory. This high-security government site, sprawling across 890 square miles of desert, was the birthplace of the world's nuclear power. 52 nuclear reactors were built here in total isolation. For decades, the scientists working in the heart of Atomic City knew a secret. They knew that beneath their feet, a massive, cold, invisible river was moving through the rock. They realized that this disappearing river wasn't a curse, it was a resource. The water vanishing at the sinks serves as a natural cooling system for the massive aquifer that sits beneath the desert. But it also raised a terrifying question for the people living downstream. If the water is moving beneath a nuclear testing site, where exactly does it come back out? And is it still safe? For decades, scientists debated whether the connection between the sinks and the rest of the state was real or just a theory, so they tested it. Researchers released harmless dye into the river upstream, just before it disappeared into the volcanic rock. Then they waited. Days passed, then weeks, and eventually, traces of that dye appeared, not nearby, but nearly 100 miles away. The conclusion was clear. The river wasn't lost. It was traveling on an epic multi-year journey beneath the Snake River Plain. The water eventually reaches the edge of the Snake River Canyon near the town of Hagerman. Here, the mystery reaches its spectacular payoff. If you stand at the base of the canyon walls, you can see the earth begin to bleed. Thousands of gallons of crystal clear water burst out of the solid rock, hundreds of feet above the canyon floor. They call it Thousand Springs. This is the Big Lost River, finally returning to the light after its long, dark journey through the volcanic pipes of the earth. It is one of the largest spring systems in the world, a literal leak in the side of a mountain. Slowly moving beneath the plain, the water resurfaces in places that seem, on the surface, completely unrelated. Quiet springs, remote wetlands, lakes that appear to exist without any obvious source. Ecosystems that shouldn't survive in such dry terrain are quietly sustained by a river no one can see. This hidden flow plays a crucial role in supplying fresh water across the region. Plants depend on it, wildlife depends on it, and human communities depend on it, often without realizing that the water in their taps traveled through a 10,000-year-old lava tube to reach them. But today, a new mystery is emerging. The lost river is starting to run out of time. Because the water is hidden, it is easy to take for granted. Over the last century, thousands of deep well pumps have begun mining this underground sea to turn the Idaho desert into profitable farmland. We are currently pumping water out of the ground faster than the Big Lost River can put it back in. In the last few decades, the flow at Thousand Springs has begun to slow. The invisible lake beneath the ground is shrinking. It's a silent crisis. Because we can't see the water disappearing, it's hard to convince people to save it. The Big Lost River is a reminder that even in a country as studied and mapped as the United States, nature still holds secrets, not hidden in distant jungles or unexplored oceans, but right beneath our feet. What they learn here helps scientists predict groundwater movement, protect freshwater supplies, and prepare for future droughts. Not just in Idaho, but across the world. For locals, the river is simply part of the landscape. Quiet, invisible, easy to forget. They drive over it, build near it, live above it, all while water moves silently below the surface, following a path shaped millions of years ago. The Big Lost River reminds us that not everything important is visible. Some of the most powerful forces in nature don't announce themselves, they don't roar. They don't collapse. They don't demand attention. They work quietly, patiently, out of sight. Hidden across the United States are countless natural wonders like this, unnoticed, unexplained, and waiting to be discovered. And sometimes, the most fascinating journeys are the ones we never see.